Oh, it's a hot one today, guys. I've been cool in here. Oh, I've just popped in today really to just to tidy up a little bit after family left a couple of days ago, and just got empty the bins and things. But I thought it'd be quite nice to sit here and cool and have a bit of a chat. So I'm gonna sit you down. I'm just gonna pop to the loo. And I just noticed my face a bit red. It's so hot today. Back in a minute. Yeah, so it looks a bit messy today. I can explain. Today was chimney sweep day. He came early because it's so hot, so he came in this morning and he swept our chimney, the Jeet's chimney, and then we went round to Sharon's and he swept her chimney. So we're ready for the winter. Right. Well, that's the last of the bedding stripped. We've already done some of the washing. Not the day to be working, really. As I say, I'm a bit red-faced, and I don't know about you, but my hair tends to go a bit fuzzy when it's hot. Oh. Yeah, so as I say, I'm in the Jeep. My daughter and the grandchildren and my son-in-law all left on Sunday lunchtime. Bowl accounts, they had a lovely time, so fingers crossed. They're hoping to come back around Easter. We had I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video before, but just to let you know now, their visit was a bit shortened because they'd sent off for the children's replacement, because they'd gone out of date. They'd sent off for the replacement passports in June. And so they went ahead, carried on booking everything because they thought, they'll be there in time. But sadly they weren't. They were due to come over, I think it was on the Monday. I can't remember exactly. Might be before that actually. Might have been the Saturday. And we got a phone call on the Friday saying that they'd got 2 out of 3 passports. They'd arrived. But the third one, for some reason, still wasn't there. So they rang the office and everything just to find out what was going on. And there was, for some reason, all this confusion. Even though they're sisters, one of the daughters, they decided they wanted their mother's birth certificate. So it was very frustrating. Why only this one person that took on board this passport decided to be difficult, I don't know. But anyway, long story short, the passports arrived Wednesday morning, so that's quite a bit later, and they would have been here a few days by then. But they didn't get here till Wednesday evening because obviously they had to wait for the passport, and it was later than they said it would be. So that again was another frustrating thing. So they arrived. So we ended up, instead of having 6 nights here, they had 4. I think it was in the end, because then they extended it. Instead of going home on the Friday or Saturday, they went home on Sunday. But yeah, so it just meant, they probably would have been quite happy, I think, just sitting around here doing not very much. But we like to show them around a little bit, give them a good time, if you like. And Duncan's obviously taken the time off work, so he wants to do something on his holiday. So we tried to do a little bit of both. We did lots of games, not really board games, but card games and things like that. And we had a good time. It did mean we had a late night every night because basically just didn't want to go to bed. We was enjoying each other's company. But yeah, so the last couple of days, especially yesterday, I was very, very tired. I'll probably slot in the picture to show you. It was quite exhausting, but it was worth it. And we only had one real day of sunshine, which was their last full day. And we managed to get to the man-made beach. I think I've said to you before, we've got man-made beaches in the middle of forests, and we managed to go to one of those. So it was really nice, and it meant the girls could go and have a swim in the lake and everything, and we had a bit of a picnic. And it did start to get very hot. Obviously, same old story. There's no pleasing. We were sitting there getting hotter and hotter and just thought, right, that's enough now. We've done the beach, let's go. But we did find a chateau in the same town that we were in, and so we took them round there. And wasn't an awful lot in it, actually, for a chateau, so it was a little bit disappointing, but it was something else to do. Yeah, and that was that. Then we had come home and had a meal in the evening, played a few more games, and then from then on was really packing and getting ready to go. Then once they left on the Sunday, we were already planning to go for a repas with our neighbours in a neighbouring town, and it was an andouille repas, which is basically a big sausage, which I think is made from the offal and things, if I remember right. Very strong flavour, smoked sausage it is, with a pureed potato, and we had carrot and like a pâté rillette starter, and then dessert. Then we had cheese, a piece of cheese and some salad, and dessert was just a cold rice pudding with apple compote on top. So, I mean, sadly, two things out of that meal weren't exactly Duncan's favourites. He doesn't like very smooth things like mashed potato and that, and he hates rice pudding, so he ate the apple on top and left the rest. But it was really nice because this year, we've been a couple of years before, but this year, Leon, our neighbour, his brothers and their wives were coming as well, so it was quite nice to be invited alongside them and, chat as much as we could. And Sharon came along as well, and I'll slot some of those photos in as well to show you. They have, I'm sure I filmed this last year actually, but they had wooden games that you can play while you're waiting to all sit down, and they're quite good fun. Some of them are like old-fashioned games, and some of them are just a local carpenter or whatever his take on well-known games. Like Connect 4, if you know Connect 4, they'd made a version of that. And it's good. And thankfully, most of that was in the shade, so it meant we could stand in the shade, because again, as it was a very hot day. Yay! By the end of the meal, I'd had enough. We were sat there for about 4 hours, and there was long waits between courses. And because I was already tired, I just thought, once we've finished, hopefully we'll go. But we had given our neighbours, Leon and Natalie, a lift, and it was a bit awkward because I wanted to get home and go to bed. Normally after this sort of we'd go back to theirs, or they come to us for a few drinks. But we'd already decided before we left that we couldn't manage it this year. But as it turned out, Leon said he could get a lift home with his brother, and so we left. Ironically, we'd not been in 2 minutes, and then they all turned up anyway. Never mind. Oh yeah, so that was my sort of last week and weekend. By all accounts, as I say, the family had a good time. They were very sad to go, same as I had to I shed a few tears when they left, but that's not unusual. Yes, I thought I've just come in really just to clear up, because being family, I did say to them not to worry about the clearing up as much, and I knew it. I'd just do it when they left. So that's what I've just been doing. I just popped into Lassay just now with Sharon just to get a few bits and pieces. And she's off on holiday on Saturday. She's going with her friends to La Rochelle, which is further south. I think it still comes under La Vendée. I could be wrong. But it's beautiful. So yeah, she's doing that. Have I mentioned that we was buying the garage? I think I might have done. But the garage, which actually sits next door to the gîte here, belonged to our neighbours, and the house went up for sale, and the garage was up for sale separately because they were bought separately. So we are buying that off of the family. So it means now that the garage will be ours to do what we want with, and it's going to be such a bonus. We'll be able to store our wood in it this year, which arrives on Friday. And whereas you've probably seen in previous videos, normally the wood is delivered in the centre of the village and we have to take it down the alleyway. Or more recent years, they managed to bring it down the alleyway on like a little forklift truck closer to the garden, and we have to then stack it there. But this time, because not where he would normally drop the wood is right next to our garage, we can just open the garage doors and he can take the little forklift inside and just put it in straight away like that. And oh, bliss. We haven't got hours and hours of walking backwards and forwards with wheelbarrows. It's going to be such a difference. And same as when we pick it up to, we need the wood for the fire. We've just only got a matter of meters, or a lot, obviously it was a matter of meters before, but a lot less meters to go and get it. So it's going to be a real bonus. And Duncan's talking about using the upstairs of the garage, and maybe, because it's got quite a high ceiling on it, and maybe putting a craft room in there for me. And he may put his trains in there, we're not sure, but he'll have a workshop, which is something he's always wanted. And it's going to be really, really good. So come the 15th of September, we've got to go and sign for that and pay for it. So once that's done, we can breathe a sigh of relief. I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of the video, I was showing our front door. Yeah, we got a new front door. We bought that and had our friends bring it over from the UK, and Duncan used the opportunity, because my children were arriving late, rather because he'd had the time off work. He said, well, I've got the time now to do the door. So he fit the door, and yeah, it's got so much light in the hallway now, it's incredible. So that's just another bonus. And I don't know if you remember, but my old door had a little window in it. So what we did, we took the door, that door is now in the garage, and the little window is now in the living room door, which I'll try and slot a picture in to show you. It's not quite finished yet, but it's in the door, and it's not going to give off a lot of light, but it makes the door look so much prettier. More of what I would think of as a cottage door. And so yeah, so that was them two. And of course, last week we had some windows given to us that were the perfect size for the summer house. Remember me saying we needed new doors because they were just really rustic, shall we say. They really needed replacing. So these windows that our neighbour had in his house he was renovating were absolutely perfect. So again, I'll put in some pictures to show you those. So finally, after 2 or 3 years, we've got new doors for there. So it's been a week for doors. So we're really chuffed that we've got these jobs done. And it's always the time to do it anyway, isn't it? In the summer when it's dry, rather than trying to do these things in the winter. What else can I tell you? Not a lot, really. I was a little bit sad that I didn't get to do everything I'd like to have done with the children because we had less time. I was going to take the children into my craft room and do some sewing with them, or crafting or painting something. But we just didn't get the opportunity to go up there. And then I remembered a few other things I was hoping to do and we didn't. But what we did do was great. I mean, we managed to have a barbecue in the garden, and we managed to have a game of archery, and we managed to sit round the fire pit on the first night. Yeah, it was good. All things that we'd not managed to do with them before. Oh, and also it was good because Duncan, I think I might have said before, but Duncan likes to play games on the Xbox because he's a big kid, really. And Chris also my son-in-law likes to play games as well. So they set it up in our living room with 2 TVs. So take the one from the bedroom, put it in the living room. And he set it up that they could play each other on these games. And now he's pleased because it's set it up that when they get home, sometimes on a Friday night, they're going to play live on their TVs. I used to play the game live on on a Sunday morning, I think it was, with his friend in Australia, but he seems to have dropped off for some reason. We haven't seen or heard from him about playing games for ages. That's probably about it. There's no point me showing you on the Jeep because you've seen that a good few times now. I don't think there's I don't know if I said to you, but the house, which is the one I mentioned earlier, our neighbour Leon's mother's house, was up for sale. What's happened now is the eldest brother, his daughter is now divorced and needs somewhere to live. So he is buying the house basically off of all his brothers. At the moment, they're renovating the house, so it's really nice that we're going to have someone in there rather than a house sitting there empty. It's going to be nice to actually have a new neighbour. I think I've filled you in on everything now. Yeah, I think so. If there's anything more to add, I shall obviously tag it on the end. Hopefully this has give you a bit of a normal everyday update, and I will see you in the next video. Au revoir.